that will inspire generations to come. Thank you, and next I would like to introduce, I almost said Representative, Commissioner Jessica Vega-Peterson, and also I wanted to acknowledge Commissioner Sharon Myron and Commissioner Lori Stegman, who are here with us today. Thank you.
Good afternoon. We know we are a nation of immigrants. Immigrants are part of the fabric of what makes America a thriving, vibrant nation. When we talk about immigrants, we're talking about our neighbors and our nannies, our contractors and our line cooks, our entrepreneurs and our in-laws. We are talking about families like mine who came to this country in pursuit of opportunity, just as millions have had before them. I will not allow fear-mongering to tarnish the contribution that my family and I have made to this country. Both sides of my families have faced hostilities. My father is Irish, and for many years in this country, the Irish were unwelcomed and belittled. On my mother's side, they came to this country from Mexico, seeking safety and opportunity for their family. To listen to the demonization of immigrants and the talk of building a wall on the southern border angers me and belittles the contributions that families like mine have made. Since the November election, we've seen more pronounced discrimination against people and immigrants of color, which is no less short-sighted now and no less immoral than it was when our country feared an Italian mayor, a German Supreme Court justice, or an Irish Catholic president. We are better than this. We will continue to welcome and value immigrants and refugees. To the immigrants and refugees struggling to understand what this means and wondering how they are welcome in this country, I want you to know, I value you, I welcome you, and I will fight to keep our community and our families together. Our inclusive community will not bend amid pressure from anyone. We will continue to work with our community groups and law enforcement agencies to uphold local and state laws and the U.S. Constitution to preserve the safety and dignity of all of our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker will be Sheriff Mike Rees. Please come to the stage.
Thank you very much. I have some prepared remarks and then I'm happy to take questions. I appreciate the opportunity to come today and speak. I hope this action will help assure people in Multnomah County of our law enforcement role and responsibility. It is vital to our mission of community safety that members of this community feel comfortable calling 911 to report crimes without fear of local law enforcement enforcing ICE detainers. I believe we have a responsibility to nurture a relationship of trust with everyone in our community. When our community trusts us, they share information about crime and victimization that they may not otherwise share, and that makes us all safer. MCSO's mission does not include an enforcement role in federal immigration law. If we were to participate with ICE in arresting or detaining people based solely on their immigration status, it would make our job of protecting and serving our community much harder. In all of its public safety roles, patrol, investigations, and operations of our jail facilities, MCSO follows state and federal law. As a result, we don't use our resources or personnel to enforce federal immigration law, nor do we hold people pursuant to ICE detainers. As sheriff, I am incredibly proud to stand with Multnomah County's elected leaders and our community leaders in this commitment. Together we will build and restore community trust. Thank you very much.
And last but not least, we have the legal director of ACLU, Matt Dos Santos. Thank you, he's right here.
Hi everyone, thanks for coming. My name is Matt Dos Santos and I am the legal director of the ACLU of Oregon. And perhaps more importantly today, I'm also a first-generation immigrant to a Latino family coming from Brazil, Portugal, and Mexico. President Trump's announcement today is a danger to immigrant communities and our communities of color, and to the constitutionally protected separation of powers of the states. His announcement is a new and dark day where racial profiling is the norm and criminality is defined by a mere accusation, not a lawful conviction. Building a wall is not an answer. It's certainly not the answer. President Trump's fantasy of sealing the border with a wall is driven by racial and ethnic bias that disgraces America's proud traditions of protecting vulnerable migrants. The DHS deportation force has a track record of racial profiling and excessive force abuses, and expanding it will further erode the rights of millions of people who call our border communities home. Locking up asylum seekers who pose no danger or flight risk is unconstitutional and benefits nobody except private prison corporations and politicians looking to score rhetorical points. The ACLU will see the Trump administration in court if they go down this road. We will not be scared away by Trump's empty threats. President Trump is threatening to punish localities for establishing constitutional safeguards and for protecting the public safety of their entire communities. He may hope that local officials will buckle under his threats, but they have been preparing to defend their policies, and we will stand with them in court. Cities and counties have no legal obligation to help enforce federal immigration laws. In ceasing this voluntary cooperation, cities and counties can take important steps today to ensure that they do not serve as a pipeline to deportation. We're all safer when victims, witnesses can come forward and get help. Entangling police with immigration enforcement further undermines trust and public safety. Forcing local law enforcement to act as federal immigration agents will push immigrant communities into the shadows. It will be havoc on our criminal justice system as scared immigrants do not show up for court, stop reporting crime, and refuse to act as witnesses. Oregon law is clear. Our precious resources cannot be spent on federal immigration law enforcement. State and local budgets have been cut to the bone. ICE shouldn't force locals to do its job. Only our state and local police can enforce state and local laws. Especially in these times of tight budgets, they need to concentrate on local priorities and local crimes that the federal government won't enforce. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. So we'd now like to take the opportunity for a few minutes of Q&A. So speakers, please come to the stage, and press, feel free to ask us questions.
Sheriff, if I could ask you a question first.
Certainly.
I'm sure there's a lot of unknowns of how this is going to be implemented or enforced. Are you expecting or bracing for any kind of monitoring of your interaction with the public or an audit of incident reports to see if your deputies are, doing anything wrong or turning a blind eye to illegals?
Again, I think that there's a lot that's unknown in the statements that were made today, and I can't predict what may occur at the federal level. Certainly, I want to reinforce to people in our community, we're going to follow current state law. We're going to continue doing the things that we've been doing for a long time in building trust in our community, particularly with communities that have historically had difficult relationships with law enforcement. Maybe they come from countries where law enforcement is not to be trusted. And here we want to reinforce that we work for everybody. We want to really establish a relationship of trust with everyone in our community. It makes us all safer.
Sure, Corey, do you start any math on federal funding, and if that money should go away, what you do, or do you just wait and see what happens?
Well, there's really no way to predict at this point what the actions that we're taking today are going to look like. I think it's incumbent upon all of us to stand up to bullying and threatening and to say we're not going to take it. Yes, federal funds are extremely important to the work that we do to provide services, but we can't just be bullied around by someone who wants to enforce rules and laws that we think are detrimental to the very fabric and core of who we are as a country.
Do you know a percentage of how much of the county's budget is federal funded?
I don't have that off the top of my head, and I don't know. The specifics are not there as to which departments will be cutting their funding, or I just know that there's been some threats, and but I also know that we have legal community, we have the citizenry, we have all the folks who live here in Multnomah County who are going to stand up with us today.
Is Multnomah County officially a sanctuary county?
Oregon is officially a sanctuary state, and I think.
But some cities have passed resolutions.
Right.